Hi, everybody. My name is Dennis Dicker, founder and CEO of Optonome. I wanted to give you a deeper dive into my background, as I've been through a lot through the years as I built Optonome. We started off as far as starting off, long time ago when I was a young teenager, I started to build websites. The first website that I built was a site e-commerce for my mother in the late uh, 1990s. uh, it was it helped her sell clothing online where she had a brick and mortar store. So I was able to create a website, use take pictures of items that were in store, and create a ordering form or the like to take orders where I would manually process them in the credit card machine. So this allowed her to increase her revenues. And more money in our pockets. So this was in the late 90s. I was able to find the website that I built from Wayback Machine. The dates are a little off as I actually stopped updating it in 2000. So they don't go into the 90s. So it's still a good representation of the website. I continue to work in technology. I used to help people with resumes, um, professionals in Philadelphia. I would type up resumes in a nice format so that they can get jobs. Uh, and I continued into real estate when I graduated, when I was going to school for computer engineering. And while I was in school, I continued to build out my portfolio, a real estate portfolio, until I had between $2 and $3 million in assets, uh, where I felt comfortable um, with revenues that I was receiving on a monthly basis, where I felt that I can continue to take risks and try something that I always wanted to do. And that was to build some type of technology on my own, whether it was in real estate or something I was familiar with. Uh, and I became familiar with healthcare. My wife is in the healthcare space, my brother is in the healthcare space, my sister is in the healthcare space. And early on, I was affected by uh, being a caregiver early on because my mother needed home healthcare services as she had cancer. And so I was affected in many ways uh, through the healthcare industry. Uh, and after college, I then went on to researching technologies. As you can see here, this was one of the patents that I actually approved in 2014. You can actually see my name here. I was a primary examiner, not just a regular examiner. There are two different types of examiners. A primary examiner has no oversight, where I researched this application for patent by Canon and was able to demonstrate or um, show that such an application is novel in between experts of the field. And so I researched claims and specifications and drawings in all the databases throughout the world. And I was able to conclude that this invention was novel and there was nothing else out there like it. So I took those skills and started Amity Care. Amity Care was a home healthcare agency where we started off providing non-medical services. When you're providing non-medical services, I focused on um, Medicaid payment type services, which was adults with autism and intellectual disabilities. I felt like I could follow such regulations because at the time I was renting through Section 8, which has regulations in place which you must follow in order to receive payment. So it was an easy transition into a non-medical uh, home care type service where where I hired staff to go to someone's home to provide a service. In a real estate industry, I needed to hire someone um, to go out and make a repair or make an improvement or buy a supply and make sure that they provide that service in a home that I owned in a specific time frame and within budget. So I felt that it was the same when providing a service. Um, I needed to follow specific regulatory requirements as well as implement policies and procedures so that staff understand their role. And so this particular picture um, includes staff as well as consumers that are receiving 24-hour care, as well as those that just need a couple hours a week. There are also people in this picture um, that were part of the Fresh Start program that I created early on, which helped them transition into a home while receiving healthcare services. Here's our old site. Around one of the first iterations of the site where uh, we were just displaying services, and the most common service that we were providing was the community inclusion service. It's a step higher from a basic home care service that's being offered by Medicare Advantage, because the consumer uh, receives services based on goals in their support plans. So they want to achieve some type of goal in a set amount of time. They don't just want to receive uh, groceries or want someone to go grocery shopping with them so that they can age in place. The goal of community inclusion is to be able to go in a community and do things on your own, or increase your social capital, meet new people, uh, as well as be productive in your own home so that you can age in place. We also provided in-home 24-hour support services. For those transitioning out of a hospital or institution, they would one of the first services would be a 24-hour healthcare service, similar to what they're already receiving. Or it would be a respite care service out of home, meaning it'll be in some type of licensed facility um, where the person would be monitored 24/7 in case there are any behavioral health care needs. We also provided occupational therapy, registered nursing services, and LPN services in case we needed oversight or additional services to help that person age in place. When providing 24-hour services, you're administering medications to consumers, and therefore a registered nurse needs to be in place to oversee the MARs to make sure you're compliant. There are not any errors that need to be reported. Again, the Fresh Start program was a program that I created based on this community inclusion service, where I felt that more value needs to be added um, to the current fee-for-service delivery. And each state has a waiver program with a similar service, but does not include activities on transportation. So consumers that are receiving services, they want to be included or they want to participate in activities of daily living, but they're on fixed incomes and therefore they cannot afford these activities to improve or afford transportation to go to an event or to meet new people. So the goal of the Fresh Start program was to take it a step further, offer transportation or activities, and give the right tools to the consumer so that they can excel and receive job skills or volunteer opportunities. I'll read the short description that I put together. The Fresh Start program offers subsidized living for participants receiving community inclusion or residential services. They receive an iPad or iPhone to interactively learn and practice activities of daily living, to develop job skills, volunteer in local communities, exercising, establishing a savings, and much more. The life skills coaches, or what we also call them direct support professionals or more advanced home health aides, they support the participant based on their level of need and any goal that they want to achieve and to live a more productive life. Most of all, hourly updates for families to help support the participant in achieving their goals through the Amity Cloud application. I called it Amity Cloud, Amity Care Cloud application um, while I was running my agency, Amity Care, so people could relate to the application and easily find it. Since then, the name has changed to Optonome. And during that time, I consulted with many people in the industry, many people that worked in the disability space as well as home health care. So I wasn't blindsided by the different regulations or the communication problems that were going on in the industry. If I felt like or I was advised to improve regulations or policies, I hired someone on a part-time basis or a contract basis to make sure those types of systems were in place and we were in compliance. So that helps healthcare professionals now that are going through licensing processes, or if I'm talking with an existing agency or a new home healthcare agency, I'm able to actually explain how they can improve um, by improving their policies and procedures or putting a better system in place, such as Optonome. This is the application when it was in the App Store. While running Amity Care, my home healthcare agency, I had a team in India where I would work with them at night while providing services during the daytime. So I would get feedback from staff while out in the field, and I would improve the application. I'll read our description of the application. Amity Care Cloud creates a HIPAA-compliant network, allowing secure communication between Amity Care staff, providing services, family, and specialists, creating transparency, structure, and consistency between everyone, and mostly enabling staff to provide quality care to clients. The mobile app allows the care team using their iPad or iPhone to freely communicate with the care team, making a voice call, share a picture, or GPS location, tasks, whereabouts, or documentations. Such a platform enables Amity Care, the home healthcare agency, to provide quality supports to clients by ensuring proper interventions at all times in the home and community, real time, offering training for all staff, minimizing duration of incidents or outbursts, with tracking and pinpointing areas of need, allowing faster progress to independence. Amity Care's mission was to provide quality care, and it starts with clear and secure communication. I felt that burden while running my own home healthcare agency. A lot of miscommunication between team members. And so one of the number one priorities was to create some type of real-time communication system where there was documentation of everything with HIPAA compliance. And that's the core of Optonome. Not just an electronic health record, but allows everyone on the care team to communicate freely. And then I started to document our progress starting around 2016, because we started to be able to reach out to more people needing housing and healthcare. I was invited to this conference in late 2015, Solving the Housing Crisis for Adults with Developmental and Intellectual Disabilities, Challenges, Opportunities, and Innovation. And I actually was able to present um, and it's about an hour long, which I will share in the future. This is also the application as it was showing in the app stores. The application was in the app stores in 2014, which allowed potential staff to train and allow family members to train as well if they had a family member on the autism spectrum or receiving some type of behavioral health care needs. This gave them the opportunity to manage care on their own if they did not have a provider in place. This graphic is part of the overall, we had a video that we created demonstrating Amity Care Cloud or Optonome in the early days. I knew that there was going to be a need for some type of oversight by some type of clinical professional. So that's what you see there, where the key points was documentation, optimizing care, streamlining supports, having a central location where documentation can be accessed, and offer 24/7 monitoring based on state regulations. And this allowed us to provide home care, which are a more non-medical service offering, as well as a light medical care service offering. And all healthcare professionals going through Optonome become qualified to provide such services, and then add on an extra layer of value-based care, offering free activities and transportation, as well as a housing option for consumers, allowing them to age in place out of a institution or hospital, which is a fraction of the cost for governments. So if you have a home healthcare agency, this is your niche, as most other agencies are unable to manage such services where it's built into Optonome. So your offerings will, at its core, have value-based services at all times or locations. Thank you. And again, thanks for joining this webinar. If you have any further questions, please email us at hello@optonome.com. Have a good day.